Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's third video. So we are going to be looking at CFS V2 and Beijing Climate Center long range models for today's third video. Yes, it's the CFS versus Beijing Climate Center 6 month mashup. 6 months look ahead. And we're going to be going from next month, from June, right way through to November, with both CFS and then with the Beijing Climate Center long-range seasonal model. So it's going to be a bit of fun. It's a bit of a laugh. The chances are, might as well look at them. Don't take it too seriously beyond month 1, 2. And we're just going to see how things are looking over the next 6 months through the summer and also through the autumn as well, of course. So the first video release day, as ever, on Saturday, weekend forecast, so that's your weekend look ahead, and it's going to be a very, very warm and dry week coming up, lots of high pressure influences. Have a look at weekend forecast, see what's going on this week. And also on the second video update was a week 10-day video update, including all of regular features. I'll tweet through everything that's coming up tomorrow. And I'll get on with the video for you right now, though. But just say if you're enjoying the content of the channel, then please like, share, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to check out gazweathers.com as well. And yeah, we're across all of the social media accounts and whatnot. So it's all out there for you. Right, let's get on with our 6 month mashup then. We're going to begin with CFS V2 700 millibar height anomalies for the next 6 months. We're going to have a look at the corresponding temperature and corresponding precipitation anomalies that go with those heights. So we begin here on in June. So this is 700 millibar height anomaly for June. We find we've got a bit of a non-blocking signal actually, some above average heights over towards Greenland and the Canadian side of Greenland. Also extending towards the north of Scotland to some degree. Below average heights are down to our south. Winds are sort of coming in from like an easterly direction with that. It looks as though it's probably relatively settled as we are close to that area of above average heights, but the thing we've got to watch out for is that we don't start to move low pressure in from this sort of area. If we do, then that could actually bring some quite wet weather into our southern areas. As it is, it looks like it should be a relatively anti-cyclonic start to the summer. Excuse me, but I do always worry about signs of higher pressure towards Greenland. We go through to July, and this is how July is looking. This is nowhere near as good because we set up an area of below average heights then to the north of Scotland, and we have above average heights pulling out into the middle of the Atlantic. This sends the jet stream on a northwest-southeast trajectory, and so that will turn increasingly unsettled and probably cool through July as well. So big changes from June to July. It's only month number 2 as well, this. So it's not like it's a long way out and we can discount it. It's only 2 months away. But a very big change from the sort of higher pressure signals that we had for June. Something much more unsettled and westerly in July. And moving through to August, this is how August 2020 is looking. And again, we find that this time we have above average heights more towards our northeast. So going up towards North Scandinavia. Below average heights slightly in the Atlantic. Difficult to say with that. It's been in between. It could, in theory, be like a sort of easterly type month and have quite a bit of dry weather with it, maybe quite hot. Of course, if the low pressure in the Atlantic is what has the ascendancy, then we'll run the low pressure jet stream in underneath the ridge. And so it's one of those that could go either way, where it's a 50-50 shot. But I would suspect it's probably more on the unsettled side than anything else. So we'll have a look at corresponding temperature and precipitation anomalies in a moment. But I would expect both July and August are probably relatively unsettled. We shall see in a moment. Now these tabs are refreshed as we're going along, so I'm just going to stop the video there, and I'm going to refresh the tab so that we don't have to worry about that during the video. So I'll see you in around 2 seconds. Okay, tabs are refreshed, and we are ready to resume. So we got to September. We are now at month number 4 with the CFS versus Beijing Climate Center 6 month look-ahead. We are now in the realm of sort of just the fun with 4 months out. So obviously this is very, very expected. But for September, we're seeing that we've got some above average heights displaced more towards the south of the Azores, really, and also up towards the northern latitude, some above average heights up there. Otherwise, we're bringing in lower pressure from off the Atlantic, I would have thought, although it doesn't particularly show a trough of low pressure. Again, I think interpreting the chart where we've got the position of the 2 ridges, one way to the north, one quite a long way to our south, we probably fill that up with some lower pressure through this area. So that could be perhaps a little bit more unsettled than you might envisage. October, month number 5, really long way out. Of course, October takes us back to high pressure again. This time the above average heights are out to the northwest of the country. That's going to be quite a cool position for the ridge. It will bring the wind in sort of from a northerly to perhaps rather northeasterly direction. So a dryish October, yes, but could be a little bit on the cold side. And then November finally, which is month number 6. So, I mean, it's so far out, but it is just for fun. But November looks like that. Hints of a little bit of northern blocking. You'll notice all of this yellow and orange that we've got going on up here within the northern latitudes. Some below average heights to our northeast and also away to our southwest. Some above average heights, I should say, down to our south and southwest, below average heights to our northeast. So again, it looks like we're probably bringing in a westerly flow. We are quite close, I think, there, trying to pull some quite cold air in from the northwest due to the position of a trough of low pressure. But the complicating factor with that will be the above average heights through the Mediterranean. So you've got high pressure there, it tends to bring up southwesterly winds. So it's a little bit complicated by November, but of course, as it's month number 6, it isn't really worth worrying about. So temperature anomalies for June. So remember, this is the most reliable part of the whole thing, of course. So if everything's working as it should be, this will be the most reliable part. Now, June doesn't look particularly warm for the UK or for Ireland. Our temperature anomaly is coming out very, very close to average. It is warmer than average through like France, Belgium, Holland into Germany. Above average temperatures there. But for the UK and for Ireland, just very, very close to average with a temperature anomaly. That goes on into July as well. No particular signal for anything particularly warm in July. Just very close to average or no signal. If anything, maybe 1 or 2 hints at being a slightly colder than average for northern parts of Europe, maybe. But that said, it's only a slight hint. Warmest anomalies possibly more towards the eastern side of Europe. But overall, it does look as though temperatures are a little bit lower this summer than we've had for quite a few summers, actually. There's no, even into August, look at this. August shows no particular signal for anything particularly warm or especially warm. Just very close to average, no signal. Little patches of blue, which are areas that are slightly colder than average, just here and there. And you do have to interpret these long-range models a lot of the time. Interpreting this, I'm not seeing much sign of anything particularly hot through this summer. Not compared to what we've had over the past few summers anyway. September looks like that, and again, lots and lots of white there, lots of no signal really going on. I don't think the model has a signal for temperatures in September, nor in October. By the time you get through to November, the signal is going milder than average then. So we see the oranges suddenly bursting out onto the screen, and it looks like most places in Europe are going milder than average in November. Again, though, that is 6 months away, so it is not worth worrying about. Temperature-wise, we're looking, precipitation-wise, I should say, we're looking like this. So June 2020 for precipitation, significantly drier than average for Ireland and for the UK, when in northern parts of Europe also looking rather dry than average in June. Notice very wet June for southern France, Spain and Portugal, quite unusually, and even other parts of the Mediterranean, possibly hinting at being quite wet during June. July looks like that, so if anything, still looking drier than average around France, those sort of areas, Germany, Belgium, Holland. For the UK and for Ireland, I mean, we're only around normal, maybe no signal, bit wetter than average for western parts of Scotland. August shows us going slightly above average with rainfall, although it's a patchy signal again. So you've gathered with this very, very weak signal for both temperature and for precipitation, but there's definitely not much sign of an overly hot summer, let's put it that way, with the CFS. September, again, very patchy signal. Looks like it's a bit wetter than average through parts of France. Not much of a signal for the UK and for Ireland. Might be erring on a little bit on the dry than average side, but no particular signal either way. October looks drier than average to the western and northwestern country. That's because we've got a ridge sitting through here, which will be bringing wind from a northeasterly direction. Most central western parts of Europe looking a little bit unsettled in October. And then November goes wetter than average. So November, a mild, wet month. Is that just a CFS reverting to its default southwesterly? Who knows? But certainly it goes wetter and milder in November. So really quite weak signals from the CFS for the summer and into the autumn as well. But again, you do have to say there is no particular signal here for the summer to be overly hot. Let's put it that way, much of northwestern Europe. So if this is right, we're not seeing all that much of a signal for a hot summer. Possibly, if anything, a rather mixed-ish sort of summer is indicated. We shall see. I'm going to pause the video there and we'll be back in a couple of minutes and we'll look at the Beijing Climate Centre. So we're going to do it all over again, but this time have a look at Beijing Climate Centre. So I'll see you very shortly. Okay, we're back and we're ready to resume our CFS versus Beijing Climate Centre 6 months look ahead. If you're enjoying the video, then please give us a like on the video and let us know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So we're starting the first part of the video looking at CFS V2. We've gone through the 700 millibar height anomalies for the next 6 months from the CFS and also temperature and precipitation anomalies as well. That's taking us from June to November. We're going to do it all over again, and this time we're going to do it with Beijing Climate Centre, so let's get on with it. And remember, it's just for fun, this. So it's just for a bit of a laugh. The charts are there, so it might as well look at them, but please do not take it too seriously, except for like month 1, 2, which does have a little bit of scientific merit, but the rest of it really is in the realm of being just for fun. Right then, so we begin with the 500 millibar height anomaly for June 2020. From Beijing Climate Centre, and we can see that with this one we've got below average heights to our north, so already different compared to the CFS, because the CFS is actually showing quite a lot of high pressure to our north during June, but Beijing Climate Centre might have low pressure to our north, with high pressure more centred towards the south, and that brings in a west to sort of southwesterly type flow. Could be a little bit unsettled for more northern areas. You would expect quite a lot of dry weather down in the southern part of the country. Month number 2 is July. This is how July's 500 millibar height anomaly is looking with the Beijing Climate Centre. Above average heights, more or less, centred over top of the country and to our north. You expect quite a lot of dry and warm weather to be on offer with that, quite an anticyclonic signal for July. The ridge actually strengthens in August, so it looks like the Beijing Climate Centre is going for a developing high pressure through this summer, and so by the time we get through to August, we have got a large area of high pressure sitting right over top of the country. Could that be the long-awaited hot August that we are all waiting for? We haven't had a really hot August since 2003. Could that be it? Could the Beijing Climate Centre be picking up on a hot August? Well, it's 3 months away, so it's a long way out, but definitely a strong anticyclonic signal for August from the Beijing Climate Centre. Number 4 is September, and we still go on with this high pressure, interestingly. So again, above average heights extending in from the Atlantic into the UK and over to much of Northern Europe as well. Low pressure is up to the north, jet streams push northwards. That looks like it should be a very dry and warm September as well, so a prolonged spell of high pressure coming up if the Beijing Climate Centre is right. It really is going to town with high pressure during the extended summer, and should therefore be a much hotter summer compared to what the CFS V2 was showing. October just carries it on. Look at this, high pressure again is in control in October, this time the above average height sitting sort of to our north. Could be starting to bring in some rather easterly influences by October, so obviously that's going to start to cool things down. Easterlies in October are not going to be overly warm usually, so mainly anticyclonic, lots of dry weather still even into October, but could gradually be starting to get a bit colder. And then month number 6, it's a really long way out. This is November, and this is quite interesting because it's going for large amounts of northern blocking to be sitting to our north. All of that red sitting to our north is quite extensive northern blocking. It's bringing in the wind from an easterly direction I mean, for November, we might start to see the first hints of winter biting, particularly for more central and eastern parts of Europe, probably, but you wouldn't necessarily rule it out that could get into the west of Europe. So after a very, very prolonged spell of warm and dry weather through the summer and into the earlier part of the autumn, later in the autumn, it looks like winter could start to bite quite significantly, particularly across the northern and eastern parts of Europe, perhaps. That is 6 months away, so it's a very, very long way out. Let's have a look at the temperature anomalies then. This is June's temperature anomaly from the Beijing Climate Centre. Remember, it's a rather more unsettled June with the BCC compared to what CFS was showing. So, correspondingly, temperature anomalies are no better than near normal, and possibly for the northwest, actually a little bit below average. July goes quite significantly warmer than average. We go into those orange colours into July on the anomaly scale. That's taking us to around 1 to 1.5 degrees above average. So quite a warm July being depicted there. And August is even warmer, actually. So it is a warm summer being forecast here by the Beijing Climate Centre. Very different to what the CFS is showing. You would expect quite a bit of hot weather during this summer, and particularly so in August, where the temperature anomaly is possibly approaching 2 degrees above average, or certainly 1 to 1.5 degrees above average on the temperature scale. So a pair of really warm, potentially hot months in July and August. September is also very significantly above average with the temperature anomaly, not just the UK, but for most parts of Europe as well. So a very extended summer. And then this is October, so that one also comes out warmer than average, which maybe is a bit surprising. I would have thought that might be a little bit cooler, but this also is warmer than average with the Beijing Climate Centre for October. Size a bit of a change for November, though. This is when we start to get some northern blocking appearing. So for the UK and Friday, actually we're still milder than average. We still have above average temperatures, but notice how colder than average temperatures are flooding in from the east across many parts of Europe. And as I say, because of our position in the world, we're close to the continent, next to the Atlantic, so we're always in a no man's land, really, between east and west. But you wouldn't completely rule out the chance of some of that cold air from the east getting to us during November. So out of all of the months, it probably is month number 6, long way out, probably is month number 6, November, that has the best chance of some colder than average weather. Otherwise, it's generally quite warm, really. Precipitation anomalies finally from the Beijing Climate Centre for June. We're wetter than average to our north, a little bit drier than average down to our south. July goes significantly drier than average to all parts of the country. That's because high pressure is dominating the weather, of course, and that goes on into August as well. Both July and August looking very, very dry here with Beijing Climate Centre. Not just for us, also for many parts of Europe as well. Proper drought conditions being indicated here by the Beijing Climate Centre for both July and for August too. September just hints at maybe being not quite so dry. It is still on the dry and average side, but possibly a little bit more in way of showery weather during September. However, it's basically a dry month again. Dry than average into October as well. And then let's see what happens in November. So that one is also on the dry and average side. It's going to be a very, very dry year if the Beijing Climate Centre is right, because it's already been pretty dry since March. So if the Beijing Climate Centre is right, we are looking at a very, very dry 2020. Right, that's it then. So remember, it's all just for fun. It's just to have a laugh at. It's not to be taken seriously at all, except for like month one, month 2. They have a little bit of scientific merit because they're not all that far out, but the rest of it is just to have a laugh of it. But that's what it's showing. That's what they're showing this month. We'll do it all over again next month. They could look completely different next month. That's how way these long range models work. But for this month's CFS versus Beijing Climate Centre mashup, it does look as though the CFS is favouring a rather mixed-ish and coolish, I think, and rather changeable sort of summer, and not much of a signal for the autumn either, whereas the Beijing Climate Centre wants to have a hot summer. Beijing Climate Centre is very set on a hot summer and extending that warm and dry weather into the autumn as well. Just a few hints that by November we possibly start to go a little bit colder. And that's particularly so for northern parts of Europe, but could get to us as well on those easterly winds. Right, that's it then. So tomorrow we're going to start off with the final summer analogues update. So we've got one more update to do for the summer. That's going to be with you tomorrow when we'll release a Gaz Weather's summer forecast on the 31st of May. We're also going to have Gaz Weather's sunny roundup, have the ECMG Measure France and DWD long range update around 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. And then at 5 o'clock we'll be live streaming. We're going to have a live stream on the YouTube channel. We'll embed it to gazweathers.com, and it'll be across the social media accounts too. And with that one, talking about Beijing climate century, interestingly, we're stopped at November, but with the live stream, we're going to go out beyond November. I'll take you out. Shouldn't really be doing it because it's too far out, but I will in the live stream. Sunny from 5 o'clock, I will take you out through December, January and February with the Beijing Climate Centre, and you'll see what the BCC is forecasting for the winter of 2020-21 in our live stream on Sunday. Should be an interesting watch, so I'll see you then, but lots of updates before that. Okay, that's all for now though, and thanks for watching.